So back at the end of 2021, when Capcom gave us the information for the 2022 CPT season, they said you could qualify through online qualifiers like they've been doing throughout COVID, offline qualifiers, which are premier events that haven't been specified yet, and a World Warrior system, which we were completely blindsided by. From the little that I could understand in the initial announcement, it was supposed to be a way for your local community to kind of hoist up your champion and give them a shot at qualifying for Capcom Cup. However, the system's been revealed, and it's a lot more interesting than that. But before we move on, like 70% of you guys who watch these videos aren't subs, so if you enjoy what you see, please consider subscribing. It really would help me out. So the way that it works is that every single region that you see here on the screen, all 26 of these, are going to have 5 different tournaments. It's one 6-month event with 5 tournaments, and every tournament you're going to earn a certain amount of points to qualify for your regional final. And whoever wins that regional final amongst all the best players from that region is going to qualify for Capcom Cup. This is how 26 slots of Capcom Cup are going to be decided. I think a hybrid system is actually not terrible. I think it's a good thing. It just depends on how the netcode holds up, especially at Street Fighter V. But what I'm more concerned with and more hopeful for is Street Fighter 6 and like the future of this system. I think it's a good way to get people who normally would not step out of their home and go to all these events and spend a bunch of money to go play in a tournament to get involved in the competitive sector with all of the best players in their region. It's also a much more fair way of doing things for even players at the top. You know, having to qualify from one single tournament like they've been doing over COVID with these online qualifiers is not very fair. Maybe you have a bad weekend and your run for the year is over. You know, you have one bad placing and you don't get first, you're done. You might get a couple $100 if you get top 3, but that's it. This is a much better way because 1 month, maybe you don't play so well. You know, maybe you're still top 8, but the guy in first gets more points than you. The next month you come in and you win. Your points will balance out. I think it's a much more fair way of doing things, and it's a great idea if it works properly. And I think what they're doing by implementing these new systems, one, that they had to because of COVID, but 2, I think they're testing this format for Street Fighter 6, and this could be the future of Capcom Cup, right? You have online qualifiers, offline qualifiers, and this World Warrior system. In hindsight, thinking that this would be an offline thing, because that's kind of what I thought, is that it would be all of your local scenes coming together to hoist up their champion of their city and have them kind of try and qualify for Capcom Cup. It's not realistic, right? That's like a logistical nightmare. This is a much more realistic way of doing it. And so now when you navigate over to the schedule tab on the website, on the Capcom Pro Tour website, you'll see this World Warriors events tab, and everything's already blocked out and scheduled. You can find your region. So I'm in US Midwest, and I will be competing and documenting it here on the channel. You can see that the first qualifier is going to be July 23rd, August 27th, September, October, November, right? Those are the 5 open events, and then the 6th one will be that final event for these top 5 point havers, right? Everybody at the top of the ladder for my region. I could just see like this tab, this World Warrior tab, being put on one of those screens on the Street Fighter 6 Battle Hub that we saw in the trailer, and you can like register through the game and see the ladder and see you know, who's the best in your region based on competitive points or whatever. I think it has a lot of potential, this World Warrior system, and we're not going to see this is not the end of it. We're going to see it more as we go on in the future iterations of Street Fighter. But that's only if, you know, cross your fingers, knock on wood, do all that, if the Street Fighter 6 netcode is good. I know they said they've overhauled it, they made a whole new system and everything like that, but they said the same thing about 5, and it has rollback as well. It's just not very good, so I can't believe in it. I can't be excited for anything until I get my hands on that game and I can play against people online in a competitive environment, as competitive as you can be on the internet. And for me, that standard is set with Guilty Gear Strive. It has the best netcode hands down, so I hope they can replicate that to some extent. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, as always, please consider subscribing, and thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.